The thing that inspired me to be a leader in the community is when I became conscious of the issues in my community. Which is plenty, but if you want to give them more. A young man that I was mentoring, he was 14 years old. He was found guilty of first-degree murder. And I took responsibility for it and just came back to the table like, what can I do different to stop this from happening? So I started talking to a lot of the kids in the community and even this individual, and come to find out they really didn't know who they were or where they came from. And there's no place better than to figure all that out than actually go back to the motherland. And through that, Genesis evolved.
I've never really even been out the country, so this is my first time, and I was excited that I'll finally be leaving the U.S. to see something different.
You know how they talk about the trip to the Holy Mecca? I felt like this would be my trip to the Holy Mecca for me. Ghana was a Holy Mecca for me. We hear so much negative stuff when it comes to African American history, and I felt like my trip to Ghana would definitely change that, because I always heard about a single story, and I wanted to change my single story. I wanted to experience it firsthand, and I wanted to also see the linkage between African American and Ghanaians.
Now you know something is not right, you can't really pinpoint it. It was one of those things. And then when I actually took the trip to Africa, I'm like, yo, this is it. We have to implement this back home.
Maybe like a month ago, before the trip, I was reading in my history book about W.E.B. Du Bois. I was amazed with his library on how many books he had. And then walking in, there's pictures on the wall of him and his wife, his kids, and him meeting different people. There's his office and where he actually sat, his books, his libraries. Then you go a step deeper, it's actually his living room.
He died in here on 27th August in 1963.
Me and my friend, we were looking at the bookshelf and we saw all these different books that I've never even heard of. We didn't have that much time, but we were quickly skimming a book about Black Power, and all of them had titles that were very inspiring, and I really wish we could have stayed longer to kind of read them.
We traveled to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial. He was a leader to their independence in Ghana.
That's the symbol of Sankofa, which means go back to your root. We should learn from the past. We shouldn't repeat the same mistake we made in the past. Though we come from different backgrounds, with different color of skin, with different languages, we are still one race. That's why you want all of us to be under one continental union.
It was really cool to see how important he was to the people of Ghana.
You see a statue of him with his head off, and his head is sitting right next to them, and we automatically wondered, why is his head in a different place and there's holes in his statue? He's so significant that somebody wanted to take that significance away and actually shoot his statue.
To achieve those dreams. But unfortunately, his government was ousted in 1966. So that's the unfinished work of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
He really made something out of nothing in a place where he was actually, he was taken out of and put into a prison, and he still came back and did what he did. He still, made them an independent country. So that was he's making something out of nothing. In America, where I live in Hunters Point, I can make something out of nothing. I can start from the ground up and actually build something from it. And he inspired me to do that.
In Accra, Ghana, like being in San Francisco, but just in a different location.
The Shy Hills Reserve was where we saw the zebras and where we saw the ostrich. Shy Hills was really a place where I could be one with nature. We also got to go through different caves and also rock climbing, almost real rock climbing.
I'm not really an active person, so the hike was kind of difficult for me, but it felt good to be at the top and see the view.
We in the jungle, I'm the queen, you know.
The highlight of the trip is seeing our kids interact with kids in Ghana. and how passionate the kids over there are about education. You know, the light switch going off, realizing like, man, we have an opportunity that everybody doesn't have and we need to take advantage of it.
I met a guy named Paul, and he told me that he wanted to be a lawyer just like me. I know that me and Paul, we live on different continents. We're both going through a struggle though. He's the same age as me, but is in middle school. He has to work hard just like me. In America, I have to work hard because I'm an African American woman. Society isn't built for me. It's built to keep me down. So I know that me and Paul are going through some of the same struggles.
In my opinion, when we visited the school, it was one of the best days in Ghana because we not only got to interact with the children, but see how amazing they were. They were also happy and so grateful and eager to learn.
We asked them what they want to be. One kid said he wanted to be an engineer, another said she wanted to be a doctor. It's kind of similar to what kids want to be in the US, but I feel like over there in Ghana, they don't have the opportunity to do it compared to ours, but they really want to, so they're trying whatever they can to do it in school.
The middle school was great.
When we went to the Kente village, we saw how they made the Kente cloth from scratch, and I actually got to go on the machine where they made it. They used their feet and their hands to pull the strings, and it was really cool to see. They're making the machines that they're using to work.
That's how they try to use this calabash to sell. And this is bamboo tree. It's a strong tree. When the die is salt, you can't hold this. That's how they do it. You can hold the top. And the symbols, each one have meaning.
They taught us how to stamp the kentes and also how the ink was made. Stamping my cloth with the Dinker Stamp leadership really just brings it out of me and shows the world. When I wear my kente, people will be like, what is that stamp? It just looks like a bunch of circles. But I will tell them this is an Dinker Stamp and the historical meaning behind it.
When they dance, you can tell that they really feel it in their soul, and you really can tell that they feel it in their culture and that they've been doing it for years, and that's something that they're really passionate about.
It made me realize that we really have a little bit of culture. We don't really have that much. So the little that we do, I came home and I really want to grasp that culture and really, make it deeper. I want depth now.
Being in a forest in Africa, I never thought I would be in a forest in Africa.
And if you want to come back, you just take your left-hand side. That is, instead of 7, you walk on just 3 bridges. But I assure you to enjoy your trip by going through the 7 bridges.
We all had to walk on these canopy bridges. We kind of have them in the US, but they're like a long bridge. You're like suspended on top of nothing, just trees below you, and you're walking to the next spot. It was like 7 of them. It was fun.
It really starts with ourselves. If we want to change something, we first have to change in ourselves. When I first met Stephen Corso, it was kind of like, I've been waiting for you. This is me washing away my chains. Getting in that river, me washing away all the negative things. I'm no longer enslaved in my mind. I'm no longer a slave to society. I am now awake. I'm now opening my third eye to see things that I've never saw before. That was a moment for me because it gave me a chance to really reevaluate myself in my life and the chains that I have on myself, because it's not easy to realize that you're enslaving yourself. It's not easy to recognize how you're enslaving yourself, but I felt like that time I could feel the significance. I'm a materialistic person, so that helped me kind of realized that in myself. I do hold back sometimes for being a leader. So in that river, I was able to wash away my chains and really change something in myself and give me the motivation that I needed. The vibe is different. When you walk into Ghana, you feel happiness. When you walk into that slave castle and into those dungeons, it's like, wait, stuff is getting real. You could feel the negative energy, and when Stephen is talking about it, you can see how important it is to him in his eyes.
They were branded rebellious and were just left in there to die. For how many days do we think?
When he stepped in that dungeon and told us how slaves were there for
a week?
3 days max.
But I don't think I was surviving there for more than 2 days.
Starvation, lack of water, it just really touched me, and it really put some type of like barrier on my soul, because it's like, this is what my ancestors went through.
Occasionally, water was poured in here just to sweep the place of physics.
It's our mindset that really sets us different from everybody else. And I feel like that's a mental thing. No one can tell you that.
I can only imagine this time.
You have to really learn that within yourself, and I feel like Stephen did that for me, and he helped me get the key to unlock the chains in my head.
But there was nothing you could do. You couldn't offer any help. Because we are all suffering, we are all trying to survive. What can I do to help you? Nothing. So this was a help for those who decided to fight for their freedom. They were seen as the stubborn ones, the difficult ones.
I just see stuff different. I kind of feel like I put contact lenses in my eyes. Like, I still have the same set of eyes, but I just see it different. I see things in a different light now.
The walls are going to be whitewashed just to help them get stronger and stronger, but not to whitewash the history of the dungeon.
Honestly, I was not ready to go home. I wasn't ready to leave. I felt like we hadn't been there for long enough. But I was excited to come back and share my experiences with others and let them know what I learned and just how amazing it was.
I just got to keep it going because it's actually working.
When it was time to go, it was really like heartbreak. I didn't want to go.
I was just sad. I was like, I just don't want to leave. All these people I just met, all these kids that want us to stay, want to meet us, talk to us. It was just, I didn't want to come back yet.
The whole time in the bus ride, I had my head against the window. I was just looking out the window like, I want to stay here.
One of the ways that Ghana changed me was finding the meaning of self-love and later loving the people around you and loving your community. And I feel that that's something that the African American community does struggle with.
Black on black crime, I didn't want to come back to that. Being there, you felt like so alive and just open that you could just be another person. You don't have to come back and be the same person that you was before. And that's one thing that JJ preached to us about coming back to our environment and just changing.
I used to want to be a leader and wanted people to follow me, but now I want to be a leader and create more leaders and that will really create an atmosphere in a world just full of leaders. I felt home in a place that I'd never been. I just fell in love with it.